All right. I'm not supposed to talk right now, so I better start talking then. Alina and Brittany, Lourdes, Jason, Christy. Man, there's a bunch of people hopping on. How you guys
Yeah,
doing?
good morning, everybody. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to join in, and then we will get started.
And Sam's going to talk the whole time, which
Yeah,
we're so excited for. That's why we're here today, Sam.
I got this little houndstooth shirt jacket yesterday. Kind of
Oh,
feeling.
so this is it's its maiden voyage
Just for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
class.
it's got
just
that,
for our webinar. Nice.
it's got that stretch to it, which is nice.
Oh, very comfortable.
Yeah, it's extra soft. Maybe the last time I can wear a shirt jacket this year. Starting to warm up here in Texas.
We're
What's
hoping to see
going
that
on?
soon. Right now, we're just hit with fog this morning.
I live right up against like a ravine, and it's like a nature preserve here in West Texas. So we very rarely have fog, but when we do, it like settles down in it. And so I get to like pretend that I live along some water or something, which we have zero of here, except for the
Yeah.
fun
That's
fact.
awesome.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I want to tell you where I pretend to live. So when I go to Sterling, our headquarters office, I see mountains. So I pretend I live somewhere where you can see mountains. I'm like, oh, I see a little bit of mountain. I live in the mountains.
Our mountains aren't really mountains, but yes.
I'll text
That's
you.
yep. It's
I guess it
imagination.
all depends on what you're used to, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have the southern tip of the Franklin or of the Rocky Mountains, which is called the Franklin Mountains, right out this window right here, in West Texas. So I get to look at the mountains. I love them. I just text you a picture, Bev, so you can enjoy the mountains.
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
let's
It'll be very
let's go
relaxing.
ahead and kick this thing off, guys. I
All
know
right, good.
we have a lot of people here and they're anxious to learn. So, good morning. My name is Ryan Capel. I'm the regional lead for Champion Title, MBH Settlement Group, and District Title. Our three companies all operate under our parent company, Acrisure, whose name you will see featured on the bottom of our logos. Although Champion, MBH, and District operate as distinct separate brands, we can offer more to our clients when we come together for great training, tips, and tools. Please continue to work with the company and the points of contact that you know and trust, whether that be Champion, who invited you, MBH, or District Title. And we want to welcome you to our first Acrisure Title Partners event, our Top Producer Series, Listings, Leads, Ads Unleashed. Each of our organizations is committed to setting and maintaining the highest standards of excellence at the settlement table, empowering our clients to navigate real estate transactions with confidence and ease. And we're working in partnership to introduce innovative product offerings and benefits designed to enhance the overall client experience, providing education, strategies, tools that can help you succeed in today's competitive market. So today we have the privilege of hearing from my friend and renowned industry expert, Sam Trimble, whose expertise in real estate is unparalleled. For those who have joined past Champion Title trainings, my colleague Katie Solomon has hosted some events with Sam, and we've gotten just unbelievable, outstanding feedback in the past. So we're ready at our companies to make 24 a great year. I know you guys are as well. So I'm excited to kick it over to Beverly Franklin, the Director of Marketing and Communications from MBH, who will give us some more details on today's event.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. And this is a very exciting time, and I feel so grateful to be working with you in this partnership. To dovetail what Ryan was saying, we have a long-standing tradition of being positioned for your success and for delivering tools. From a growth perspective, we are absolutely committed to helping you grow your business, and our series, our Top Producer series, Listings, Leads, and Ads Unleashed, was crafted precisely with this in mind. So this power-packed lineup of webinars will equip you with the strategies and the tools that you need to succeed in this competitive market. And while we respect the fact that we are in a low inventory market and we cannot tell the future, we do know that there will be an upturn in the market, and those that are ready will succeed. So today I ask, why not you? This is a three-part series, so mark your calendars and register for our upcoming events on March 20th and then on April 10th. You can visit Champion Title, MBH Settlement Group, and District Title on our Facebook or our Instagram pages for registration links to the subsequent series. Our session today is 6 ways to generate listings in a low market inventory, and is a great kickoff for your future success. I'm super excited to welcome and to introduce industry expert Sam Trimble, who is bringing a wealth of insights, experience, and brilliant ideas to us today. Sam is a renowned Inman speaker, a frequent contributor to major news outlets, and a powerhouse in our real estate industry, speaking at events across the nation. So I know we're all ready to get excited, to get started, and so excited. So Sam, I'll kick it over to you.
Man, I better figure out what I'm going to say. That was a heck of a introduction. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for having me. And one of the things that you said, Bev, that is kind of interesting to me, is, you know, this will change. This too shall pass. If you've been in the market as long as some of us have, you know, you've seen the ebbs and flows before, and you know that you'll get an influx of agents when there's a real, you know, flow, and then it ebbs, and then they'll lose some agents. And those of us that stick it out and have a strategy on how to kind of survive and thrive in any market will be here a long time. And I truly believe that, you know, this trickle of business that we have right now will become a torrent in the near future. And so I'm really excited about that. So thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen, and you can just give me a thumbs up that you can see that. I always make sure you're good. Yeah. All right, cool. There's been a few times where nobody said anything, and I'm like 4 slides deep, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we can't see anything." And I'm like, "Okay, perfect." So thanks again to everybody at Acrisure, Champion, MBH District for having me. My name is Sam Trimble. I'm with Fidelity National Financial. And today we're going to talk about 6, maybe 7 or 8, because I'm ADD, ways to generate new listings and really generate new conversations in low inventory markets. So again, thanks so much for the intro. That's my beautiful hometown in the background right there, El Paso, Texas, and Juarez, Mexico right behind that. Really thankful to be with you guys. And just so you know, I'm one of you. I'm still a card-carrying member of the National Association of Realtors and have been since 2007. And I'm thankful to be a part of the industry that we all get to call home. Hey, Katie, I see you over there. Good to see you virtually. So I think I want to set the tone. I'm a nerd, so I love stats. You guys know that, Ryan and Bev. So I want to set the tone of this conversation with something that's really kind of hopeful for me, right? So at the end of the day, every 7 to 10 people in your database can equal 1 transaction a year. So I don't care if you're a realtor or a lender, you're in the title space like we are. If you know 100 people, that's 7 to 10 deals. You know 200 people, that's 14 to 20 real estate transactions that will take place in the next 12 months. So when you first realize that, you realize that it kind of becomes a scavenger hunt, right? How do you find that 7 to 10 or 14 to 20? That number alone can carry many of us as real estate agents through any market. So staying connected, continuing to build valuable relationships, using technology to create, enhance, and grow relationships rather than hide behind it, I think is really important. But if I was full-time going back into the real estate game right now, this would be a mantra that I would write on a Post-it note that would be on the side of my mirror in my bathroom, alongside the Lord's Prayer for me, right? Like, and every day I'd be thinking about, where am I going to find these 7 to 10 people? How am I going to connect with them? How am I going to add value to them? How am I going to lift them up today and make them feel seen and heard? And how am I going to make sure that those 7 to 10 or 14 to 20 or 28 to 30 deals a year are done mostly with me? So I think this is an important stat. Write it down, sing it, and think about it often, because it can carry you through almost any market. So stop number 1, the 90-day CMA. So there was a real estate agent. I work with thousands of real estate agents around the country, and I'm super, super thankful to have been a part of crafting some messaging and some strategy with many of them. And there was an agent that I worked with in Miami Beach. So different market, right? Like high price market. This strategy turned into like 33, 32. I don't want to overshoot. I think it was 32 deals and $15 million in closed transactions. So what I will say, and I may have it on this deck, but if not, I usually close all of my decks with a image that just says, take one thing today and go for it, right? So as we go through these 6 or 7 strategies, pick one that you're like, you know what, that sounds like it makes sense. That feels good, and go for it. And I promise you, you will see results. So if you've never heard of a 90-day CMA challenge or a unsolicited CMA, if you will, the premise is this. Right? You take your friends, your family, past clients. We only have a 20% repeat business rate as realtors right now. Do you guys know that number? 80% of our repeat business, statistically, we are leaving on the table. So a lot of these strategies should be around getting repeat business back. Imagine if you could just double that or maybe even triple it to where you get 60% of repeat business. On its own, 60% of repeat customers doesn't sound all that great, but that would be 3 times what we're getting industry average right now. So take those past clients, those past customers, family, friends, people you know down the street, your sphere of influence, and do a quick CMA. What people are hearing in the market right now is, oh my gosh, the last few years, the market has been crazy. There's more equity in America than there's ever been before. Your home is probably worth more than it's ever been. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's what they're hearing over and over and over again. Well, what does that mean? What does crazy mean? Like, no one really knows. They just hear these talking heads on TV talk about it. So take the time, sit down, and do a quick CMA for one of those people in your sphere of influence. What we did with this agent in Florida is he did one CMA every business day for 3 months, right? So he ended up sending out about 90 CMAs. And the idea here is, notice this word, to empower your past clients. It's not about asking for business right off the bat. It's not about, you guys have seen those postcards. Some of us have probably sent them that show up in your mailbox that are like, the Johnsons are ready to buy your house cash today. Call me, right? Like, you see that and you're automatically like, I don't know who these Johnsons are, but they need to step back, right? Like, it doesn't feel good. The idea of a 90-day CMA is to send one to every person in your sphere of influence over a 90-day period, empowering them. So I see Brittany Hunt, right? I see the name here. So, hey, Brittany, it's Sam. I know we haven't talked in a little while, but I just wanted you to know, I'm assuming you've probably heard the market is crazy, but what does that really mean? I went ahead and did a quick market analysis of your home because I thought I needed to empower you with that information so you could make smart financial decisions moving forward. You probably have kind of a lot of equity, you've noticed. So if you want to do a cash out refi and do that kitchen remodel, maybe get into some investing or whatever, or you just wanted the information, either way, I just wanted to empower you with it. I hope all is well, and we'll talk soon, right? It's as simple as that. You're empowering a client with information to help them make smart financial decisions. And you're not asking for anything. You're not the Johnsons ready to buy their house tomorrow that nobody gets a call on. So the 90-day CMA trick, I think, is a really cool way to start conversations. A lot of people, you'll notice, will, one, appreciate that you just gave them the information. They don't know that we can go on RPR or Cloud CMA or somewhere and create a CMA in 30 seconds, right? It doesn't take a long time for us. Like, they don't know that, though. And so we took the time to create a CMA and send it off, not asking for a single thing, just trying to empower them with information. So one of the things I like to do is actually record my screen. You can use Zoom, Loom, Zappy. You can actually use Canva if you wanted to. Record my screen going over the CMA, and I like to send it in a video email. There were times that we tried in the past to kind of turn it into like a little care package and hand deliver it, but I kind of like doing a summary via email and sending it to them. But again, if you were to do this once a day for even 30 days, but for a 90-day or 3-month period, I promise you're going to have clients and customers, family, friends, sphere of influence, people from your kids' t-ball team that had no idea what their home was worth. And the fact that you're saying, hey, if you'd like to do a cash out refi and finally do that bathroom or kitchen remodel, let me know. I know some great lenders that would be glad to help. You're not asking for anything, you're empowering, but those conversations turn into listings, absolutely, when people realize just how much equity they now have. Statistically, I wasn't joking when I said there's more equity in America right now than there ever has been. Something like 58% of all baby boomer homeowners have officially paid off their house now. That's the biggest number ever, which is why, we were all talking about millennials the last few years, but it's actually shifted. The biggest segment of home buyers and home sellers is baby boomers now because they had paid off their houses and had 100% equity. So just something to kind of think about there. So the 90-day CMA thing, it is something that is relatively easy to stick to. Take 20 minutes once a week, pick 5 people in your sphere of influence, run 5 quick CMAs and shoot a quick video saying something similar to what I just said, and schedule it on something like BombBomb to go out every day, every day in the week. And it's amazing how many conversations you start. So the 90-day CMA is actually one of my favorites. I should probably put it towards the end, but I absolutely love that strategy and I've seen it work before. So the second thing that we can do to generate listings in a low inventory market is really leverage technology. So this could be 27 slides, probably, Bev. You would be so annoyed with me if I went down.
No, I would love it.
So many of you have probably heard of predictive analytics. So predictive analytics, the basic idea is, AI algorithms are used to dissect neighborhoods or properties and figure out who's likely to sell based on empty nesters, retirement, having 100% equity or paid off homes, how long they've lived there, things like that. So of course, predictive analytics is really cool. I've used Smart Zip, Revaluate, Offers. ZipSmart AI that I kind of bolded here is a new tool that I've seen relatively recently that uses AI. And the cool thing about ZipSmart is it's not just predictive analytics for listings. I know we're talking about how to generate new listings, but ZipSmart.ai also has it for buyers and sellers, right? So you could use one of these to reach out to potential sellers, and there's a good chance using these algorithms, I think they're 20 or so% of the time it ends up turning into an actual listing, which that's an incredible rate. You can also use this for buyers and investors. What if I could send a text to a former buyer, say I'm working with Bev. Bev decided, you know what, the rates have gotten too high. I'm out. I'm going to wait for the rates to come down because Neil Cavuto says they're coming down soon, right? So what if I were to text Bev and say, hey, using some data and some predictive analytics, I now see that the prices have hit their lull in Mission Hills where you were looking in the past, and those prices are about to go up. So it might be a great time to hop into that neighborhood, and we can always refi when the rates come down in a few months, right? Like you're using data to drive conversations. Same thing for investors. This ZipSmart.ai has an AI-driven analytic platform that will determine when a neighborhood is about to shoot up as a neighborhood. So it would be a good time for an investor to potentially go into that neighborhood and start investing. So I love predictive analytics. If you've never messed with them in the past, let me rephrase that. If you've messed with them in the past and you were unimpressed like 7 years ago, try it again. Because 7 years ago, I don't think the technology was really there. It sounded really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that would be awesome. Well, now the technology is really there. So the predictive analytics on basing on who's potentially going to list their home in the next 6 months are unbelievable. So I love predictive analytics. Farming has been around a while. There's tons of apps for it. There's tons of platforms. A lot of brokerages have them. Some title companies offer them. But at the end of the day, I really love Addressable. It's relatively new, and there's a few reasons I love it for farming. One is it's a handwritten note, like literally ballpoint pen to paper handwritten note, which always, if you statistically, the open rates of handwritten farming correspondence versus printed. You guys know, like Bev, I can see you, so I can talk to you. So, when you get like a card in the mail that looks like handwriting and you look and you're like, you're faking me out. This isn't handwriting. You're already lying to me.
I'm so excited though.
Yeah, but I'm like, you're already lying to me. This isn't real.
Right.
Like,
oh, right. Exactly.
yeah, don't even try to make it look real because we're starting a relationship on a foundation of lies. Addressable is a ballpoint pen robotically written, and you can select from different handwriting. If you're like me, you need to select one of their handwriting because you can't read mine. I'm like a doctor without the education and the income. But you can insert some writing samples, and it will actually replicate your writing with a ballpoint pen on paper, which I think is really cool. And the AI piece of Addressable, it's like $1 to $1.50 a card, which is very affordable for this type of farming. And the cool thing about Addressable is it throws a little hand-drawn QR code on the cards, and based on who scans it, it uses AI to redirect your future campaigns to the clients that it thinks will hit best. So it's really, really cool, Addressable. And again, for $1 to $1.50 per card, I've seen people that use this just as a way to send out mass amounts of personal communication. I sit here in my desk, and one of the things that I have in my drawer right next to me is little note cards, right? Like I love writing little note cards. There's something about putting pen to paper, putting a stamp on, putting it in the mail that makes us feel different, especially in 2024. So I've actually seen people use Addressable just for the mass handwritten note card thing. So for $1 or $1.50, that's about the price of a piece of stationery anyway. So we all know that video is where it's at. Honestly, at this point, I almost feel like we're overdoing video in this industry. Like I can't get on a platform without seeing some of my real estate friends posting videos about things. That said, we know it's the best way to communicate next to in person, right? So it's a useful thing. Fun fact, written word on paper has a 10% retention rate, right? So I always joke with people, like if you want your clients to forget something, put it on a flyer. right? Absolutely put it on a flyer and hand that to them. They're going to forget 90% of it. If you want them to remember, use video. We have a 95% retention rate. We all have that annoying friend. For my friends, it's probably me that like spouts off like random statistics a month after watching a video on TikTok. It's because we remember it, right? 95% of what we see in video, we remember. So creating video, there's the people out there that I start talking to about leveraging video, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on video, my hair, and then I whip out my camera and they're like, well, hello, like, but many of us actually don't want to be on video. So if you don't want to be on video, there's a lot of really cool tools in today's world. You can do some cool stuff with Canva. You can do some cool stuff with Synthesia. Lumen 5 is one of my favorites. There's 3 different ways that you can create a video on Lumen 5. The first is you can just drop a URL into it. So say you saw a great article about housing inventory being at an all-time low, and because of that, people being able to demand more and make more on the back end of their sale, right? You see an article like that, you want to share it with people, trying to convince them it might be a great time to list their home. Well, if you see that link, the chances are, we just talked about it, right? If you share that link, first of all, no one's probably going to click it. And if they do click it, they're going to forget 90% of it, right? Well, you could drop that link into Lumen 5 and it will automatically create a video to your preferred duration. So I prefer like 60 seconds or less, using the information from that article in like 5 seconds. It will, if you dictate where you'd like it to be, if I'm in El Paso and I say, make this El Paso themed, it will literally draw images from El Paso as a part of that video. So a video that has never existed on planet Earth will be created from an article that you didn't write, and all you have to do is give credit to that article, right? So you have a video piece of content instantly without even having to think about it. One of the things that I want to talk about today is RPR. You guys familiar with RPR in your neck of the woods? It's a free benefit of the National Association of Realtors. And so they've got a really cool AI-driven tool in there to generate listing lead conversations, which I'm going to show you guys here in a few minutes. Another thing you could do is go into chat and say, you know what, write a 200-word blog post about why it's a great time to sell your home in El Paso, Texas, first quarter of 2024. See what it comes up with. Rather than copying and paste, make it your own a little bit, and you could literally throw that copy into Lumen 5 and immediately turn it into a video. So if you don't want to be on video, that's something that you can do. There's a lot of really cool tools for stuff like that. If you're making long form video, this isn't even in here, by the way. Say you're doing neighborhood profiles, you're talking about some of your favorite local businesses, or you have a long profile video that you've created in the past. Opus or Video, like Video.ai, are 2 tools where you could throw that long form video and it will automatically chop it up into bite-sized micro videos, 15 to 30 seconds long, with captions and cool little frames. So you're able to reuse this content that you've created in the past. That's not on here, but they're just 2 really cool tools that I use pretty regularly. So of course, AI is the topic of conversation right now. It's the belle of the ball right now. So if you're not using chat, you absolutely should be. Go to openai.com, download the app on your phone, and just prompt it for something. At the end of this session today, I have a QR code that will direct you. It's not a part of this class, but will direct you to a document that I created that is a ChatGPT kind of masterclass for real estate agents, right? So it gives you lots of creativity ideas, but it also helps you with really tailoring specificity in the prompts for chat, which helps you get a lot more value out of it. So you should be using chat. The last thing I would talk about on leveraging technology to generate listings, however, is when you realize that 90% of planet Earth doesn't speak English, right? So like we go around speaking English every day, 90% of the Earth doesn't. We want to speak to our clients and customers and potential clients and customers in a way that they're most comfortable with. So Captions app is pretty amazing. If you've seen like influencers or people and their words are bouncing on the screen and look kind of cool, that's the Captions app. It's $9 a year. It's one of the only apps that I'll actually pay for. I'll buy a round of drinks for everybody at the bar for like $200, but if you charge me $5 for an app or $5 for shipping, I'm like, I don't want it anymore, right? But I actually will pay for Captions. And there's a cool tool in there. There's a lot of cool tools, but one of them is you can actually like audibly dub your videos. So yeah, of course you can translate the captions into another language. You can actually, from the beginning, select a spoken language. It will analyze your voice. It will use the intonation and the way that I speak. It will replicate that and turn it into one of 200 languages. I think it's more than 200. So I did a video the other day in Japanese and a few other things. So if you're doing any type of content that you think would be valuable to people that maybe aren't 100% comfortable in English, replicate those videos in other languages and post them to YouTube. If you guys have ever heard of Mr. Beast, he's one of those guys that somehow has become a multi millionaire on YouTube. He's the one that said, you know what changed my entire career? When I started dubbing videos into other languages, because I realized I was losing out on 90% of my potential audience. So our goal as a real estate agent is to represent our clients to the best of our abilities, honoring our fiduciary, but most importantly, to empower them with information in ways that make them feel comfortable, right? In ways that they can understand. And so I think the dubbing of videos in the Captions app is really, really powerful. And again, because I'm ADD and I know it's not in this deck, there's kind of one more thing you could think about when it comes to the Captions app and stuff like that. If you are looking for content, you're trying to figure out what should you be saying, what are the questions you need to be answering, how can you drive traffic to your website or to your social media, go to answerthepublic.com. And again, this is not on here, so if you want to drop this in the chat, Bev, that would be cool. Go to answerthepublic.com. And if it was me, I would search real estate agent in West Texas or real estate agent in El Paso. When you search that, it is going to give you approximately 60 questions that people are asking most often on search engines relating to a real estate agent in El Paso. If you're a realtor, you get hit up all the time, like raise your hand or say yes in the chat if this happens to you. I still do. I got hit up all the time by companies saying, hey, would you like to be on the top of the first page of Google? For only $750 a month, you too can be on the top page of Google. This is what they're doing, right? They are using something like Answer the Public, searching real estate agent El Paso, Texas, taking those 60 topics and creating blog posts around those topics. That's how you get to the first page and the top of Google. So if you're looking to do that, absolutely go search something similar to that and start creating content with titles that match those different topics. I promise you, you'll start getting hit up more often. So, I would, in this class, I'd probably be thinking, real estate listing agent, El Paso, Texas. I would search that on Answer the Public, take the 60 or 70 topics that they give me or questions and turn those into topics for blogs on my website, which will drive traffic, YouTube videos that I would then dub into other languages. And it's things like that that all of a sudden make you an absolute killer in the market. So technology is not about hiding behind it. There's a ton of other things. I love BombBomb for communicating using video. It's a lot harder for someone to get mad at a person. If it's black words on a white screen, our clients might get a little frustrated about things during a real estate transaction. If you're delivering it with your voice, your face, and you're able to look them in the eye when you're delivering that information using something like BombBomb, which is like a video delivery email platform, the likelihood of them having a better customer experience and staying more calm when things get a little difficult is much higher. But at the end of the day, how can we use technology to grow, sustain, and create new relationships, not hide behind it? A lot of industries now are using technology to kind of hide behind it. We are back to an experiential feeling economy, right? How are people made to feel? What kind of experience do they have when they're doing a real estate transaction, when they're going to the dry cleaner, when they're buying a pair of shoes? We're an experiential feeling economy. So figure out ways to use technology to create conversations in a meaningful way and not hide behind it. So technology.
Hey, Sam, I just wanted to say, just so everybody knows, we will get this recording out to everybody. That was a question in the chat. You dropped about 100 nuggets there in that last segment. I missed half of it because a fire alarm went off in my building, which was great timing. So I'm going to watch the recording too. But everybody, that will get out to you guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Cool. Yeah, the recording will get out, and I'll also I'll make sure that Bev has the updated deck, and you guys will have access to that too. So, absolutely. Thank you.
The
question. So live event marketing is really huge. 80% of people are likely to move within 1 year of these 5 things. right? These are the 5 pillars of finding future listing clients and even buyer clients: marriage, birth, death, divorce, and job relocation. So when you're, if you're active in your church, if you're active in your kids' t-ball team, if you're active in a local club like the Lions or the Rotary or whatever, that is a wonderful place to become a resource to people. And that's the thing that I would say here more than, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, there's so many deals around death. This is great. No, dude, like we're all in this together. We're humans. We're here to be supportive of one another, lift each other up. And so to me, these are times when you can be a resource to people, right? If someone is married for the first time, it may be a time that they're looking towards buying a house. 80% of people apparently will, right? Death, divorce are really hard. Job relocation, birth, and marriage are celebratory, but death and divorce are really hard. Over the last several years, during our 2 weeks to flatten the curve that's still going on, right? A lot of people not only lost their jobs, but they also lost their lives, their significant others, their spouses, their kids, their grandkids, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles. And so to me, people glaze over these things and they just say, oh my gosh, be on alert for these. To me, I'm like, be on alert for these. And how can we be a resource to people? So there's a few things that I would do, though. There's different alerts that you can set on your social media to be aware of certain words when they're used. So I would absolutely look into setting those up. But listen, right? Add value by being a resource around these things. When you give me a statistic like that, most times, for example, say I were to run a bunch of Zillow ads, my click-through rate and then capture rate is probably going to be somewhere around 2%. Right. So 98% of the leads that I get through something like Zillow are not going to turn into a deal. If you could get that to 5 or 7%, that is a killer campaign that any realtor would pay for, right? Think about this. 80% of people going through one of these 5 things is going to move in the next year. So when you see things like this happening, absolutely see how you can be supportive and become a resource and be aware of these. There's nothing else in this business that offers an 80% success rate. So be aware of that. I'm a huge fan of momentum. I don't know how long. I'd be curious if you guys want to throw it in the chat or in the Q&A, how long everybody's been in the business. But when I first got in the business, I was told by a office manager, kind of a sales manager at Century 21. I was that gold jacket crew. My mom got me one I told this story. You guys were there, I think, when I was in Virginia or Maryland or something. My mom went to a thrift store and she found like the Century 21 jacket, the gold jacket. So I walked in my first day in 2007 into the Century 21 office with my gold jacket. And the first thing that somebody said was they looked at me and I was like, oh, they're digging this jacket. This is awesome. And she looked up at me and she was like, really? And that was how I started my real estate career. That same day, the sales manager at my first real estate brokerage said, if you can survive the first 5 to 6 years, you'll build all kinds of momentum. 5 years in is around the time I started getting calls from people I didn't even remember, and deals just started happening. It was awesome. I sat in the back of the room and I was like, man, my mom and dad are going to kick me out if it takes me 5 years to get momentum going. So I would instantly in that day, I was like, how can I build momentum faster than 5 years? And so getting strategic with social media, I think, is really important. Throwing spaghetti on the wall and just seeing what sticks never does anything for anybody. We get annoyed by it when other people do it. So why are we doing it, right? So I would offer up the 10-5-1 daily challenge. This is a way to create actual conversations with people, leading to listing leads and buyer leads too. So 10 comments. Take the time to sit down. You guys know that feeling. You may post something, right? Like Bev, you're super popular. So you post something on Insta or whatever, and maybe you have 60 likes on it, right? But you have 3 comments. You don't know who those 60 likes were. I'm not going to take the time to scroll through and examine that stuff unless I'm looking for an X or something like that, in which case I probably will look through that. But I'll look at the comments. Those people stand out, which is why I'm saying comment here, because it stands out. So take the time to make 10 comments, create 5 new connections. Go through your email and find your old and your, excuse me, your past clients and customers, and make sure that you're connected with them on social. Statistically, every 2 to 5 years, a modern American does a real estate transaction. That's where that 7 to 10 people out of every 100 we know will do a deal this year. It's because every American, every 2 to 5 years, we do some kind of a real estate deal, whether we're buying, selling, or investing. So go back and reconnect with those people and then send one non-creepy DM, right? So 10 comments, 5 connections, 1 DM. If you were to do this every day, the amount of conversations you create is pretty amazing. And again, notice that liking a bunch of stuff is not on here. That doesn't do anything. If you want to do it just to make people feel good, that's fine, but it's not going to start conversations. So connect, engage, comment, send a video. When I really wanted to stand out from the crowd in the past, maybe with someone that I thought would be a perfect candidate to become an investor, for example, I'd send a video in their DMs. When's the last time you opened your DMs and it was someone saying, "Hey, Sam, it's me, Bev. Just wanted to check in. I hope all is well. Would really love to catch up over a cup of coffee or maybe a baseball game sometime soon. Hope all is well. We'll talk to you soon." That stands out. Bev's face and voice, and she could look me in the eyes in that video. So I used to love sending quick videos. And frankly, if you're like me, it's faster than trying to hammer out a message using my 2 opposable thumbs. So repeat this and time block it. This needs to become a part of your strategy. It's not about spending an hour a day doom scrolling. It's about spending 5 to 10 minutes very intentionally. So the 10-5-1 challenge, I firmly believe that a shifting market is a battle for conversations. You probably heard me say that before. He or she who has the most conversations that are the most valuable with the most people will generate the most listings, will generate the most buyer clients, and will close the most deals. Bottom line. So how do we start conversations? This to me is a wonderful way to do it. So I'm a huge proponent of being strategic with social. Time block that. Make it a part of your calendar, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever it is that you want to do. So a couple of the last things, FSBOs are absolutely back. People have a ton of equity. They know it. They've heard it online probably or seen it on TV, but they're also cheaper than ever because they realize based on everything that's going on with the NAR lawsuits and lots of other conversations, they're trying to save every dime that they can. So at the end of the day, FSBOs are still a thing, but it has always been the case that they are low-hanging fruit. 90% of them end up listing with a real estate agent. So this is another batting average that you just can't beat. 90% of the time, that for sale by owner that's up the street from you will end up listing with a real estate agent. So like Bev says, why not you? Right? Why not you? So one thing that I wanted to talk about here to give you a tangible, actual strategy here is RPR. So if you guys don't know anything about RPR, Realtor Property Resource is what the acronym stands for. It is a free benefit of being a member of the National Association of Realtors. And they made us care again recently. I haven't cared about RPR in a long time, to be perfectly frank, but they created something that made me care again. So I want to show you kind of what I was thinking about for a strategy. And actually, let me click back on this. So knowing that 90% of all FSBOs will end up listing with an agent, how can you stand out of the crowd of all the people that are going to be hitting up that agent or hitting up that FSBO, right? They're going to be hit up by a lot of people. How do I stand out? There's a couple things that I can think of. One is if it's a luxury listing, create some branding for that listing. If you went to logo.ai with 5 questions, a name of the property, a slogan, you pick colors, you pick a font, and you pick whether or not you want it to have an icon or not have an icon, and it will generate 50 logos for you. You can change the colors, you can update them, download them in high resolution. You could create branding for that luxury listing. Hey, Ryan, saw that you're trying to sell your house. Statistically, 90% of FSBOs end up listing with an agent because we can help you get more money and sell your house faster and make sure that you're represented adequately. But also, man, your house is really special. So I actually went ahead and created some branding specific to your house because I think it needs to stand out like it as it should, and then create branding. They're not going to get a package of specific branding for 2028 Bob Hope, an entire brand kit for an individual house. You could do that on something like logo.ai in 30 seconds. There's something that stands out. Another thing that stands out is using something like RPR. So if you go to residential market trends, people always ask how you actually get to it. So if you go up at the top to residential market trends, you can search pretty much anything. You can search a state, you can search a city. In this case, I searched a neighborhood that I live in. You could search by individual address, and it'll pump out a couple statistics right off the bat. In this case, I ran this in December, 2.4 months of inventory in my subdivision, 98% list to sale price, a little under 20 days on the market, and an average sales price of $497,500. Okay, well, that's cool. And it's telling me, yep, it's still over here. It's a little bit of a seller's market. That's cool, but that's not where it stops. If you look, there's this button over here that says create script. Okay. So if you click that button, it's going to give you a few different options. You can choose a tone: professional, funny, innovative, relatable, and you can choose an audience: buyers or sellers, or both buyers and sellers. And then it gives you three things that you can create: a video script, a social campaign, or you can analyze the metrics. So remember, RPR is a part of the National Association of Realtors, so it's pulling directly from MLS data. So this is actually good data. So I went in and I said, let's be engaging. We're talking about generating listing leads. So I said, let's choose an audience being sellers, and let's start with the video script. I clicked go, and it created an entire video script for me using a ChatGPT OpenAI plugin in about 5 seconds. And it used the actual data in this neighborhood. So what if I were to not only create some branding for this luxury home that Ryan lives in, that I'm trying to create a relationship with. So what if I were to use, logo.ai to create some branding, and then I were to say, and I've already created a social media campaign and blog post specific to your property so that we'll get as many eyeballs on it as quickly as possible, right? You can do that in a minute or less in today's world. So I did the video script, which is awesome. I mean, Sam Trimble, let's dive right in. Currently, we have 2.4 months supply of inventory in Mesa Hills. That means homes are selling fast in this hot market. In fact, over the last year, month supply of inventory has increased by 39.53%. It's giving me the script. But what if I wanted to create the social campaign? So I clicked social, engaging, sellers. It created 7 social media posts for me that I could easily generate an image for, maybe of one of my own listings, maybe of a headshot of me or whatever. Not that anyone would want to see that. And, look at what it says: attention sellers in Mesa Hills. Did you know the median price on market is only 17 days? Homes are selling fast in this market with a median sold price. It's breaking down the actual data and even creating hashtag sell with Sam. That's not a hashtag I've ever used before, and it created it for me. It's even using emojis. The emoji game is nowhere near as strong as my mom's. Her emoji game is like next level platinum, but it's still pretty good. And then I went and we talked about blog posts earlier, right? We talked about creating those 60 or so, having that menu of blog posts based on Answer the Public to get you served up at the top of Google. When you click Analyze Metrics, it turns this into what could easily be used as a email campaign or a blog post. Doesn't mean you copy and paste all of this. Copy it, go in, make it your own, right? Like, I joke around a lot, so probably there'd be something ridiculous that would be said in this that would make somebody laugh potentially. And so, but it's creating the stuff for you. So if you're looking to get into a situation where that homeowner is going to pick you, they're going to get hit up by a lot of people. If you go in with a marketing and a branding plan for that specific house, they don't know it took you 30 seconds, and most agents will never do this, right? So you go in with a branding and a marketing plan ahead of time, already baked out. There's a good chance you're going to be the one that wins that listing when 90% of the time that for sale by owner decides to list with an agent. So if you haven't looked at RPR residential market reports, absolutely go check it out. So the last couple of things I want to talk about real quick are, one is pretty obvious, and that's Google Business. If you don't have a Google Business profile, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Talk to your broker and make sure they're cool with it, because some brokers have kind of a parent page that they want you to use, or maybe not have one at all. But once you check yourself before you wreck yourself, I have a whole class on optimizing and building a Google Business profile. But here's a few quick tips, a couple of which most people don't know about. So if we want to optimize this for organic search engine optimization, and a couple ways to do this are: the way Google knows how to serve up what you're looking for is service areas and services, right? So make sure when you go in, all the service areas by city, by county, by state, if you're licensed in different states, are as complete as possible. And then all the services are as complete as possible. Real estate negotiations, contract management, listing services, buyer representation, all of those things are complete. And then one thing that a lot of people don't know, Google rewards you for posting. You can post to a Google business page just like you can any other social media platform. You can post pictures, you can post updates, you can host events, you can do all kinds of stuff. Most people never do it. When you do, and this, I didn't make this term up. So like, everyone always laughs when I say Google juice. Like, for some reason, like, I didn't make that term up. That's what people call it. To get the Google juice really flowing, absolutely, you should be posting to your Google business profile. One thing that's really helpful in driving some traffic specific to an area is posting geotagged photos within your target area to Google. Just simply uploading a photo, make sure you took it and had your location services on your cell phone when you took it, and it'll automatically be geotagged. Create events. To me, if I'm doing an open house or a buyer seminar or a listing seminar or anything like that, it is not complete until I have an event on, of course, realtor.com and all of that and syndicated out, but on LinkedIn events, do not sleep on those. They are really, really popular right now. I'll see an event promoted on Facebook with like 15 people. I'll see that same event, same verbiage, same image, same flyer created on LinkedIn with 6, 7x that amount. So don't sleep on LinkedIn. So I post all of my open houses and seminars on LinkedIn as well as on Google. Google, we joke about how Google knows a woman's pregnant before she does, right? Google knows what's up. Google knows what people are searching for when they're laying in bed, dropping their phone on their face in the middle of the night, right? So if you're going to do an open house, you're going to do anything real estate related, it will automatically serve it up to your ideal audience for you, right? That is something that you cannot ignore. So absolutely create events there. And then, of course, ask for reviews. Make it easy when you ask for them, a QR code or something that directs straightly to your review page where they click hopefully 5 stars, a comment, and post. Make it easy as possible. And then respond to each and every one of those reviews. The things on this page that Google likes most are posting and responding to reviews. There's no point in getting 100 reviews if you don't respond to any of them. Google will not serve you up as well as it will if you respond to each and every review. And for the record, I actually like bad reviews from time to time, because usually a bad review, especially in the real estate space, has something to do with miscommunication. So if you're worried about getting bad reviews, and that's one of the reasons why you haven't delved into some of these things, whether it's Zillow, Realtor, or Google to generate reviews for your business, I actually like getting bad reviews from time to time, and I would simply answer, hey, this is Sam Trimble. My cell phone number is 915-269-7634. I'm so sorry you didn't have a 5-star experience. That's what I strive for every time I work with a client. Please give me a call to see what I can do to turn that frown upside down. I look forward to talking to you, right? That's how I respond to a bad review. They either call me and we clear it up. 76% of the time, they actually go back and edit it, which is pretty cool. Or people that read that review, we all read the bad reviews first, right? Like that's, there's a reason why there's not a traffic jam when everything's going great, but there is when there's a wreck, right? Like we all look at it. We don't stare when things are going perfectly. We stare when something goes wrong. So everybody looks at those bad reviews. When they see a response like that, I'm not angry. I'm not being antagonistic. I'm offering a solution. They actually feel empathetic and start to feel bad for me before they even know me. So don't worry about bad reviews. There's a little tangent about that, but respond to every single review you get. So that is 6 things. I had one more thing that I wanted to cover real quick, and then we'll wrap up close to right on time. And that is kind of my LinkedIn relocation strategy. So around the time that first sales manager told me to wait it out for 5 to 6 years so I could build some momentum, I also got into the relocation game. And I was like, oh, wow, these people will just give me leads and I just show up and I'm probably going to get them. That's awesome. And then I got my first check and I was like, where the hell did the first 50% of this check go? Like, I didn't realize I was going to get only half of this. So I started thinking, yeah, it was cool to get 50% or 60% of something rather than nothing. But I was like, how could I create my own kind of quasi relocation company? So this is what I did. And then, I have a LinkedIn class that I nerd out about and I love because I think people really sleep on LinkedIn a lot and it's a really powerful tool. And I owe a lot of my career to it. So what I did was this. I started thinking about the businesses near my office or near my home that were maybe like 30, 40 to like 150 employees, right? So enough that there were deals happening, people were moving in and out of town, relocating around town, buying, selling, renting, all the things, but not big enough that they would have a deal with the big relocation company. I went to LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn and you search a company, right at the very top, it'll say 73 people work here. You click that link, all 73 people that work there are going to be served up to you on a platter. Don't make the mistake that I did going through and like connect, because LinkedIn was like, hey, bro, you can't do this. And I got in LinkedIn jail for a few weeks for doing that. So do like 5 or 6 connections a day. And over a couple month period, I connected with everybody in these businesses and started to slide into the DMs a little bit in a meaningful way. like, share, comment, and engage with people. LinkedIn rewards your engagement, because if I go on Ryan's LinkedIn today and like a few of his things and comment on something, it is a true networking site. It will reward me by showing Ryan all of my content the next time he gets on LinkedIn. It really creates connectivity between people. So I did that for a month, month and a half. And then I found the president, manager, or owner of these small businesses. And I reached out and I said, hey, my name is Sam Trimble. I'm a real estate professional in the area. I'm connected with a lot of people in your office and was wondering if maybe once a quarter I could come by, spend 5 minutes, bring some breakfast tacos, and give everybody an update on what's happening in the real estate and development market right around your office. I'd really appreciate it. And I think it would be helpful for everybody. 50% of the people totally ignored me, never even responded to me, even after pinging them a couple times. The other half were like, you promise only 5 minutes. Yeah. And you said breakfast tacos. Yes. And then I did what I said I was going to do. I would show up at their office once a quarter, give them a quick update on average sales price, average rental price, average time on market, and some cool developments that were coming to the area. And then I would leave. And I'd say, hey, if you want a card, please come up and get one. I'd love to help if there's anything I can do. Otherwise, just wanted to let you guys know what's going on in the neighborhood. Right. So I did what I said I was going to do. Didn't spam the office with a bunch of flyers that they would forget 90% of what was on them, right? We learned that. I came in, delivered some value, and stepped out. I very quickly became the go-to real estate agent for each of those offices. I got my license in 2007, not too far removed from the Lehman Brothers collapse and some really tough economic times. I thrived through that market because of this one strategy. I basically created my own relocation company. And so if you're looking for ways to generate listing and buyer leads, they're very related. I know the class is like generating listings, but they're very related, right? It just depends what stage of life people are in. This is a strategy that I would absolutely implement today if I were you. If you got nothing else out of today, the LinkedIn reload thing absolutely carried me through the first few years of my career when it was a very tough market. And then the 90-day CMA strategy generates a lot of conversations, which is the goal of all of this. So I hope you guys got something out of today. We talked through a bunch of strategies. Again, there will be a recording. I will deliver this deck to Bev and Ryan so they can get it out to you. Thank you so much to Champion, MBH District, and all of the Acrisure partners for our relationship. We would not be around if it weren't for you guys, so we appreciate you deeply, and I mean that. And then all of you that are on here today, you know, well over 100 people. Thanks for hanging out for a few minutes. If you scan this QR code, the ChatGPT real estate kind of master guide that I created is there. And also, I just love to connect on social and stay a part of each other's lives as we go through this session, but even after that. So Bev, Ryan, everybody that made this happen, the Hooper brothers, Big Hoop and Little Hoop, thanks so much for connecting us. I appreciate the time today. And those are 6 strategies to generate listings in a low inventory market.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, 6 strategies times 5, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we got way more than 6 there. So thank you again so much. And this is just the first of our 3-part series. We have 2 more events coming up with Sam on March 20th and April 10th. Again, anybody's social media, we've got Champion, we've got MBH and District Title. Go to our Facebook, our Instagram. We have those links for you to register. And then we will also send you a link with our follow-up materials. So thank you again, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Adios.